Hello there, and welcome to Saw Bench Show number 5. This is the final episode in our series on the saw bench. It's always fun to complete a project, and we're going to complete the project on this show. So I've got everything ready to go here. Last time I joined pairs of legs into leg units with their corresponding stretchers and joined them with wedge tenons. You can see them here. It's a very good way to join things together. And in this episode, we're going to be joining these leg units together with their stretchers into one base unit. I've had dreams of me using some sort of computerized mortising machine and making lots of these perfect mortises with great ease, in my dreams, that is. The reality was that I did these by hand, and it was a lot of work, but good practice for me. Anyway, we've got the top here, and just like before, I'm going to assemble the top onto the base dry. That way I can take it apart, but as the base dries, it will be perfectly fitted to the top. And then after that's done, I will glue the top onto the base. Anytime you can break a glue up into sections, it makes things a lot simpler. So that's why I did that. It's well worth the time, extra time. So if we're ready, let's get going. I think we're all set here. I've got my mise en place. I've got my brush. My glue is heated. I've got everything here. I've got my wedges. So we're all ready to go. My clamps. All right, let's get to work here. Oh, my glasses. Here we go. Okay, well, always stressful. I'm glad I broke this into sections here, but It worked out pretty well. I think everything came together nicely. I don't see any gaps. It fits nicely. When the wedges are dry, we'll pull this off. Hopefully the base will come off, and then we'll proceed from there. So we're going to give it 24 hours, and for you that'll be about 5 seconds. So see you in just a moment. There you are, and here is our base. I'm really happy with how it turned out. No gaps in the joints. It's looking great. I couldn't be happier about that. So now we're on to the final glue up, and that's exciting. I went ahead and cut off the excess tenons and wedges. You can see what they were here. That's what we had after they were glued in. And I sawed them off with my flush cut saw. It has 0 set on the teeth so it won't scratch the surface. It has a very flexible blade, as you can see. And what you do is hold it up against the surface. I like to use my 2 fingers and just guide it back and forth and go like this. And with a little practice, you actually get pretty good at it and get a nice, clean, flush cut. So a good thing to have in the shop. I have these all over the place now. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Probably give them to kids to play with or something. So we're all set there. Let's look at the top. Here is the top. And I've cut our bird's beak out here. I notched the cut line and used my panel saw. A little rough. You can see some areas here I have to clean up. But good to go there. And let's see what else. I think we're all ready. I keep putting it off. But here's the final step, and I am excited to get it done. So let's get going here. Got my glue. Got my brush, hammer. Let's see here. Okay. I think this is the best way. How are we doing there? All right?
Good.
Okay. Okay, that is the bottom.
Can you put those in first?
I'm gonna try. Oh, sorry, dear.
It's okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
It's okay. Do your thing.
Make sure I got that right there. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Ooh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That out of there.
The one's closest to me.
Okay, you can start taping now. Well, that was a little stressful. I must admit, of all the glue-ups, that was the toughest. I had a little trouble getting those legs in there. And it was Panic City, I'll admit, but we muscled it in there. And that is the last of the glue-up sessions. So, I'm going to keep cleaning this thing up. And when we come back, that'll be in about 10 seconds, we're going to put the bottom on here. We've got a shelf to put on. We have to bore a hole for our hold down. And we have to put a finish on it. So we're almost there. Hang with me and I'll see you in a few seconds. And here we are. The glue up is finished. All the hard work is done. It's together. And I'm thrilled. It came together very, very nicely. Everything fits. Now the last glue up was less than ideal, I'd say. I think you saw that too. When I lined up the tenons on the legs with the top, I made sure that everything fit. And with a little bit of tugging, I could get the mortises and the tenons to fit. However, when I added glue, the whole story changed. The glue acted like grease and everything started slipping and sliding and I couldn't get the tenons to fit into the mortises. Things went from bad to worse. Jonine jumped in, she put the camera down to help me, and we're both tugging away on this thing and it's slipping and sliding. And at one point I picked up the base and swung it and hit her right in the eye with one of the legs. So there she is trying to help me with a rapidly swelling eye. Things are going really bad. Finally, I grabbed a utility knife and I beveled the inside edges of the mortises, and that made it easier for the tenons to go in. I should have done that at first, but that's what I wound up doing. We got the top on and ended happily ever after. So I'm very relieved, and here we are. So we're in good shape there. I fleshed off the tenons on the top with my flush cut saw. And I smoothed everything, all the tenon ends, with my Stanley 80 cabinet scraper. This is basically a card scraper with two handles and a flat bottom. And it's just perfect for removing tear out or plane tracks, or in this case, the tenon end grain. Nice to have. I could have used sandpaper, would have taken me all day and a lot of dust. So that's nice to have. Also, I found this hammer very handy for driving the wedges. It's a lighter weight hammer. And I could feel right away when the wedges were fully seated, the hammer would actually kind of bounce off the wedge. And that was handy. I wouldn't get that kind of feedback with a heavier hammer. So good to know. The next step is going to be boring a hole for our holdfast. The holdfast needs a top that is at least 1 3/4 inch thick, and that's what this is, so that's minimal. And what I did was can you see it here? Mm-hmm. I glued on a board on the bottom to increase the thickness, so it's 2.5 inches now, and that's closer to optimal. So let's get this thing clamped up, and we're going to bore that hole. Okay, all clamped up and ready to go. There's a number of ways to drill this hole, of course. I could have used my drill press or an electric drill, or some people take a plunge router and clamp the base to the tabletop and bore it out that way. But I never miss an opportunity to use my trusty bit and brace, so that's what I'm going to be doing. This is a 3/4 inch double spur auger bit, and I'm just going to take my time and line it up, eyeball it from the front and also from the side, and just do it that way. That seems to work best for me, so if we're ready, here we go. Like I said, I'm going to take my time and try to make this as straight as possible. Talking here. Whew, well, that works for me. I think that's going to be fine. So we got our hole drilled. Now what we're going to do is turn our attention to the shelf on the bottom. I've got a couple boards here that are going to be glued along the bottom stretchers to support my boards. And they are right here. Very simple, just tongue and groove joinery. You can see them here. If you want to see me using a small plow plane to make tongue and groove joinery, look at, what is it? Japanese Tool Chest Show number 2. I do the very same thing, so you can see it there. But that's what you get, and that's going to rest on those boards. So we're getting real close. See you in just a bit. Well, hello there. I'm just enjoying the view from my brand new saw bench. Okay, I'm coming down. I'll be careful. Ugh. Workshop safety and all that. Well, here it is. Let me turn it around for you so you can get the full view here. And there we go. I'm calling this project officially finished. I've got a shelf on in here. I've got a coat of Danish oil on it. It's my go-to finish for this kind of project. Gives it nice color, and it really brings out the grain. Speaking of grain, check out the beautiful grain along here. Poplar isn't really known for its grain, but I thought that was really nice, so I featured that right on the front like that. This bench weighs 27 pounds, and it's not only going to be a saw bench for me, but also a low workbench, and also a step stool, and also a seat for my friends when they come to visit. So that means they're going to have to put a cup holder in here in the bird's beak, and we'll call that a beer's beak maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I fully realize that I've taken a basic, simple piece of shop furniture and turned it into a major Hollywood production with all the time and effort I did with these joints and assembly. But it was a fun challenge, and I enjoy developing my skills and learning new things. And woodworking has taught me that if you have a complicated project, if you break it down into easier, manageable little steps, you'd be surprised what you can actually accomplish. So I invite you to challenge yourself on any of your future projects as well. Now, where to from here? Good question. We don't know. We're deciding now what we're going to do on the next show. But when we figure that out, you'll be the first to know. All due credit to Roy Underhill. He made a workbench very similar to this, using the rising dovetail as well, on his TV show. So I've included a link below in the description box. So check that out, enjoy that show, and thank you all for stopping by, and see you next time.
Wasn't that great?
So that is that. So there is that. So that is that. So there's that. So that's that. So there is that. So that 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 is that. So that's that. So that is that.